As Bitcoin makes its way back to $82,000, what now? Is this a bull trap? Is this a reversal? What are we seeing on the price of Bitcoin? We have Magic Internet Money joining us to break down the TA on BTC and what is happening. Also, we have some massive news coming out of the Ripple camp. Who is XRP working with now? One of the largest and oldest banks in the history of the world, and what that could mean for XRP and the XRPL. Also, big news coming out of the White House on multiple fronts. More tariffs, we'll cover that. But also, who are they giving master accounts at the Fed to? What have they reversed? And what does that mean for Bitcoin and altcoins? We have that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content. We take old, boring, stale information, repackage that whole thing up in a fun, sexy way. You know what? Some people say we've bottomed. Well, the stock market has not yet, and so nice to see a little deviation there. Nasdaq still down, S&P down over 1%. Dow Jones getting crushed, but Bitcoin has said, we don't care what the markets are doing. We're buying. Also, Cynthia Lamas's bill is about to hit the floor. It's stablecoin talks in Congress today. A lot is moving forward, even though perhaps the economy is moving backwards. I think it's just a sign that, like, hey, you know what? Short-term headlines affect prices short-term. Well, let's not forget the macro picture here. We're in a bull market for crypto, for Bitcoin, and we're all about to make a lot of money. This is your great opportunity to buy. One of the last chances to buy Bitcoin at the current prices. I do think that we do see that six-figure Bitcoin here in the near future. I know a lot of people are pretty bearish. I know that's where I stand. I just look at this as a discount window. And once this tariff headlines move on, we're not going to have tariffs forever, man. And with that said, take advantage of the prices now. And time to buy altcoins, right?
Robin, I'm proud to announce I ran a poll yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know, I was still shocked at your comment of wanting to pay income taxes. And so I decided to run a poll. My co-host Rob said on Friday on air today, he wants to pay income taxes. I said, who the F wants to pay income taxes?
It's not that I want to pay
Hold on, let
taxes.
me finish the post, man. So I ask you, do you want to continue paying income taxes? Robin? 92% of people vote.
I am happy to pay income tax because I understand that's how you fuel the government, right? And that's how you pay for the roads. That's how you pay for government services.
I'm not trying to make this a long conversation. I just want to show you.
It's like if someone said, "Hey, do you want to pay mortgage?" Like, yes. Like, you want to pay $2,000, $3,000 a month?
It's not.
Be like, yeah, I'd like a home. I like running water and toilets. I like air conditioning and heat. And so I understand there's a bill that you have to pay.
I just wanted to show the results, man. I don't want to have a conversation on this.
There's a reality here.
I'm not saying it's just the results.
You live in cuckoo land here, man. You think we're gonna get rid of income tax?
This is your chance here. Come clean. The 7.4%, was that all your burner accounts?
You live in this. You're probably at the. I feel like David's at the grocery store. Talking to I would say Whole Foods, but we know you shop at like Albertsons or Smith's or like Save for Less or something. Anyways, so I know he's over there talking to the cash register attendee. Perhaps it's actually the robot. It's a self checkout. But either way, he's still having a conversation there.
That 18-year-old that bag.
And he's all like, you know, they're gonna get rid of federal income tax, right? It's coming. Like, we're all about to make more money. Even the high schoolers like, is this guy for real?
Anyways, all right. Rob mentioned the stock market. Let's talk about it because macro is highly affecting Bitcoin's price action. Now, Dow was down over 600 points. It looks like it's regained a little bit. NASDAQ, after hours yesterday, dropped another 300 points. But right now, it's only down 20 points, so a tenth of 1%. And the S&P 500 is down a little more than 0.5%. Now, this coming off the continued tariff war, or the trade war that Donald Trump is imposing on, looks like everyone. And this is the prime minister, or Ontario, right? Someone from Ontario. Anyways, this guy wields power to do things. And, well, this is what he had to say.
Let me be clear. I will not hesitate to increase this charge. If necessary, if the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely. Believe me when I say I do not want to do this. I feel terrible for the American people because it's not the American people who started this trade war. It's one person who's responsible. That's President Trump.
And then to which, Trump ain't going to let that slide, right? He's not going to let it slide. Why would our country allow another country to supply us with electricity, even for a small area? Who made those decisions and why? And can you imagine Canada stooping so low as to use electricity that so affects the life of innocent people as a bargaining chip and threat? They will pay a financial price for this so big that it will be read about in history books for many years to come. So the man is not backing down. And then this is what the White House said. Canada has always been an ally. Perhaps they are becoming a competitor now. And so looks like he's
there's rumors going around that if Canada just becomes a 51st state, that they don't have to worry about any of this.
Yeah, heard that rumor too.
I just like, what happened to what happened lately? I mean, I know we got a new president, but man, things are, the waters are getting muddy, bro. You know, you got to clean the swamp, but the water gets muddy in the process.
Like the Santa Monica Ocean, very dirty.
Also, the Trump also had other headlines as well. I don't know if you caught this, but here's a little press conference from the White House.
Wow, can't wait.
President Trump says he's going to buy a Tesla today. Did he buy it? And when is the last time he drove a car?
That's a very good question. I have heard the president remark that he misses being able to drive, that luxury of driving his own vehicle, although the beast is nice. But he is going to be viewing a Tesla that is making its way to the White House complex now, I can confirm. Perhaps the press pool today will have an opportunity to witness this very exciting moment later this afternoon. But Tesla is on its way here now, and we'll see if the
what are we even doing going live right now? They're going to be viewing a Tesla.
Obviously, Donald Trump's pretty bullish on the Tesla, so he has came out and Tesla. So Donald Trump, get up to $1,000 off to purchase a Tesla with my referral link below. So,
no, it's not real.
I know,
not real.
No,
it could be real. At this point,
man,
it would not surprise me.
I am going to walk off set because I need to watch this. Them viewing a Tesla? My God, it's miraculous.
There you go.
What they're gonna make the Tesla out of it? No, the aluminum.
Imagine buying a car just to view it. You know you can't drive it. Yeah. He's gonna gift it to Barron or something.
My question is it gonna be a Cybertruck? Because Cybertruck's all stainless steel, and we got this 50% tariff on steel coming in from Canada. I wonder what Elon Musk has to say about this.
It's gonna make out of canopy.
Are you sad about not being able to get any maple syrup anymore?
You know what? I actually have some in my fridge. Now I'm portioning it out. It used to be very liberal on the pour for that on when I used it. Now it's just I got an eyedropper and I just kind of
used to be very liberal. You said?
Yeah, very liberal. Yeah.
Well, happy you're not that anymore.
No.
Now the question is, what did Wall Street do yesterday? Well, Wall Street did this. They sold, but not as much as a lot of people thought. Rob, when you look at this number, we've had a $1.1 billion outflow day, a $750 million outflow day. And yesterday, when the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ were getting absolutely demolished, only 278 million flowed out. What does this tell you? Does this tell you Bitcoin is closer to a bottom? Does this tell you that maybe Wall Street is a little more bullish on Bitcoin than they are on the rest of the stock market? What is it? What do you take from this statistic? Let me guess, not much.
I'll just be honest with you. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be funny. I would say I'm not surprised if you were to, if we would have had this conversation yesterday, like, do you think we're gonna have massive outflows? I'd be like, I could see it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's nothing out of the ordinary. at some point, you got to think that the people that have bought Bitcoin have bought it with conviction, right? And then obviously not the whole piece of not the whole piece of the pie here. But we know when you talk to somebody that buys Bitcoin, whether it's an ETF, whether it's through an exchange, they more or less, and it doesn't equate for everybody. There's a lot of people out there trying to make money, right? They're in for the trade, right? They're in for the bull market. They want to buy now and sell whatever. But I'd say majority of the people, 80, 90%, I don't know, people that I've encountered that have discussed Bitcoin if they own it. So it's a long-term position. So even people in Wall Street, I think, have come around to the idea that, like, hey, I'm buying this for the long term to put away for my kids or whatever it is, portfolio, 4 years. You hear Michael Saylor talking about never sell your Bitcoin, and so not that surprised. Now, people are still going to trade it. We see it in our own markets, right? People, you see people selling Bitcoin on exchanges. So even the crypto at heart people that don't even participate in Wall Street will sell their Bitcoin, and so will Wall Street. But I think more or less the percentage is it's a long-term hedge against inflation, and just protection long-term.
To me, this tells me that the bottom for Bitcoin is a lot closer than the stock market. There's only so much. I mean, if you look at this, right? Take a look at this, Rob. Posted by Jezza. 900 million liquidated on February 23rd. Another 1.2 billion the next day. Another 800 million the following day. Another 900 million 2 days later. And then 800 million, 1.1 billion, 1.2 billion, 1.1 billion on March 1st. At some point, there's not going to be anything to liquidate, right? The leverage ratio, which is something I've shared on the evening stream where we cover only TA and fundamental analysis, that has been trending down. And, maybe I'll pop it up on the show today as well, which join me, by the way, 4:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, although the stock market, I think, has more downside to go, I think Bitcoin is a lot closer to a bottom than the rest of the markets are. And so when we constantly saw those massive dumps and liquidations, how many of those dates were on the weekend? Were a Saturday or a Sunday? I'm curious. I don't know if you want to look at that or not, but so when that was happening during the weekend, when nothing else was open, come Monday, you start seeing that affect the stock market. And so what I think is going to happen, we're going to see a relief rally, a bounce from Bitcoin, which we're kind of seeing now, but I think it's going to go higher. I think it's going to close that gap, that CME gap. 86.5, I think, is the top end of that. We're going to see one more big flush out, and then that bottom is in, and then up only. And I think that flush out, my worst case scenario with current conditions would be 71,600. Get down there and then start that massive rally. And so that is what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball, but everything I'm seeing, it's only a matter of time before you start seeing the market start to reverse. And I don't think we get that until 1, interest rate cuts, and 2, stock market and the S&P and the NASDAQ form a bottom. And then who knows what the government will do, bring in liquidity, again, cut interest rates, which I think is going to be very, very important. So what that tells me, again, is the Bitcoin bottom is close. All the people that were, not all the people, I would say majority of the people that still hold the Bitcoin ETF, I don't think these are going to be the people that panic sell as the stock market continues to bleed off, depending on how far President Trump wants to take these tariffs and this trade war that we're currently seeing.
Did watch the stablecoin legislation today, and so the House Financial Services Committees held a hearing on digital payments ecosystem, basically stablecoins. I'll talk about CBDCs in there as well. I think
wasn't the EU doing that?
The EU is, yeah. So the European Union, was it Christine Lagarde? She's come out, which is the head or the chair or whatever position it is. She's the head of the snake over there, or whatever. And so she has said that by October they'd like to have the CBDC out, and they just need full participation from all the EU members. So all the countries need to agree CBDCs are a good idea in Europe, at least, and by October, we'll have a government-controlled currency that, you can, have a nice little.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah, nice little window on every transaction that you have, every single one, and the ability to turn off your money. It's kind of crazy, right? Like, hey, you over there, we ain't vibing with you. You had some harassment charges, or you speeding, or your boss told us that you're embezzling, and so we're gonna just shut off your everything financially.
Don't do it.
Anyways, so we're gonna start this one off. I got a couple clips here. We got Maxine Waters, one of the favorite spokeswomen of Congress. And anyways,
jump over to something a little beyond stablecoins. When Trump first issued his meme coin 3 days before his inauguration, I expressed my deep concern. I warned that this raised major conflicts of interest, national security risk for the country, and left consumers vulnerable to rug pulls, market manipulation, and more. Unfortunately, that has happened. Can you quickly tell everybody what a rug pull is and how it works?
Tell me.
Sure. With limited time, just basically when people are trying to hype up and get people to invest in an asset and making a broader promise, and then ultimately pulling out your investments in the assets, and ultimately that ends up normally crashing the market value.
Thank you for that.
Well, I expressed my deep concern, and I warned that this raised major conflicts of interest, national security risk for the country, and left consumers vulnerable to these rug pulls, market manipulation, and more. Unfortunately, that's just what happened. President Trump's insiders reportedly earned a staggering $350 million from sales and fees in the 3 weeks after his meme coin was launched. While Trump ran away with his money, reports show that a far larger number of investors lost more than $2 billion after the meme coin crashed. Meanwhile, a Republican-led SEC
pronounce every letter of that thing.
Conveniently stated that meme coins are not subject to their regulatory oversight. And so, with that, I just want to say to the
meme coin. And so
first time I'm watching Jurassic Park, I thought the dinosaurs won't talk.
Yeah.
Whoever advised him that it was a good idea to launch a meme coin,
No.
when he did, it needs to get fired. What a freaking nightmare.
Yeah. And then just a little insight on if you think that CBDC is something that the U.S. doesn't want, no, it's something that a lot of representatives do want. And so here's just an insight. And, you would think that, Trump signed an executive order. We don't want no CBDCs, but that is not what everyone agrees on. And so here's just a little insight.
Let me start off by thanking you for holding this very important hearing. We need to have a serious discussion about the future of stable coins and the use of digital assets in our country. And I think to do that, we need to discuss the broader context and environment in which we're holding this hearing. Since being sworn in as president, President Trump has sought to hand control of our financial system to the richest man in the world, a man who spent millions of dollars to get Republicans elected. Elon Musk and Doge have sought to destroy the CFPB, gain access to the Treasury Department's payment system, and frozen rulemakings, litigation, and enforcement actions, not to mention firing or laying off thousands of federal employees, many of whom perform critical oversight roles in the regulators we are discussing here today. Now, Elon Musk is working to transform X.com into a virtual wallet and payment system, and according to media reports, ambitions to create his own stablecoin.
You heard that?
So, Ms.
Elon
House,
creating his own
as
stablecoin?
we sit here today discussing the merits
boring,
of
man.
stablecoin legislation
No one gives a shit what
and
this
what
lady
is
says.
likely to be a broader discussion
But
on
right here,
digital
she
asset
talks about-
legislation later this Congress, do you think it is important for us to keep this broader context in mind?
So,
Yes,
this
absolutely.
lady goes on and saying that she wants she wants CBDCs, or at least to experiment with them, is what she says. And so it's It's real, man, and it's here, dude.
We're not getting a CBDC. Anyways, I want to give away. I want to give
If the wrong people get into power, they will, bro.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. But
Yeah, I'm just saying, man.
Pass the bill. Anyways, I want to give some money away today. I want to highlight a personal friend of mine, and also someone who's been with our channel for quite a while. So I'm going to give away $50 to one person at the end of the show. The only thing you have to do is you have to be subscribed to this channel on YouTube. I have it pinned to the top. This is our friend Crypto Billy and their channel. They do a live show on YouTube. They also do X Spaces, which I will be joining. I got your text, Billy. I'll be joining you tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. Go subscribe. One person who is subscribed, I will give you $50 in USDC. So big shout out to those guys over at Billy Go Tales. With that being said, we have our friend Magic Internet Money, who's been patiently waiting in the back. Magic, it's Magic Tuesday, baby. We're excited to have you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. I think, Magic, the question on everyone's mind is, what now? And I say that because that's what we have on our thumbnail. But I also say that because people are in a spot where they're like, okay, is this a bull trap? Are we reversing? What are your thoughts? And then if you want to talk through it with a Bitcoin chart, please let us know. Yeah, curious to get your thoughts.
My thoughts are kind of, they're similar to last week. Not popular to say, things don't always have to change week over week, but at the high time frames, we're right where we expected to be. And it's a very critical zone. Like, it's not just a place on the chart that you want to be living below. So I guess I'll walk through that on this chart, because I'm pretty sure this is the one that's on here. For the magical pivot zones, right? And so this is as basic as we can look at it in terms of pivots. And so again, what you'll notice is that anytime that you lose this dual pivot zone, I call it the PP zone, pivot squared, whatever you want to call it, it's just a 6-month and a yearly pivot average combined, so that when they are in convergence with each other or close enough to create like a small zone, anytime we lose that zone post halving, we actually go into a bear market, and you see at least the gold pocket on all retraces, which our gold pocket is way lower. So that's where we're at now. We actually generally do reach this area, and we kind of, I wouldn't say we fart around in it a little bit, but historically speaking, you come into it post halving, and it's usually pretty good support even. So the last one most notably was here. You can see you're just riding out the top side of it before moving on, and then eventually giving it up. So, that's just a recap of where we are. If I was trading this though, which obviously we are, I've made it known that, this is an area that I'm willing to bid. I've been pretty patient about it, saying that I'd wait for this area. And now that it's here, you got to trade now. So several trades have presented themselves. Not a good look coming back into this. And the only reason I say that is it is setting up for potentially a lower high. However, we'll talk about invalidations on that. Doesn't mean you can't take these trades. You just need to be aware that if this area is lost, that, these are our targets to the downside type thing. I think the simplest way to view this is not just the, pivots, but to get rid of this box for just a second and to take a step back and really evaluate what things look like on the macro in terms of fibs. We just looked at them on the BLX, but this is on Bybit. One thing I really want to highlight is this is in linear scale, not log. Notice the 0.25 and 236 here. This is actually a pretty key zone between 86 and 87, an area that you're going to want to see reclaimed. You can see, one, it was our base of our structure here, and two, it's going to be that quarterly pivot. So a more medium time frame pivot, but still pretty high time frame at 86. So getting above the quarterly pivot while holding your averages from the 6-month and the yearly, as you can see here, is good. However, if we get a rejection here and we don't see that push through, I would expect to see 73, which is a back test of your old, I wouldn't say it's the old all-time high because it was 69K, but it's close enough. You're back testing your prior all-time high. And the only thing I will note is that below that pivot zone we spoke about, really trying to hard-nosed evaluate that if it goes below there on a weekly and then transitions into a monthly candle, that's when the actionable trade of hitting the gold pocket does come into play. And it's the exact same zone that I found my short in for last bear market in 2022 to hold on to for the the remainder of the downside. So it is something that I keep an eye on pretty heavily. But back above 86, you're going to see a lot of people talking about bull div, which is certainly present if you can confirm a low. And so getting back above that quarterly pivot is going to be what you need. You need to confirm a low in order to actually have this play out. Otherwise, it can just continue to get rejected and revisit the bearish control zone, so to speak. So you really do need to see this living above 86 at a minimum. And that's just kind of a starting point. But even then, I look at it as, you probably got to take out these highs. So to me, these are trades that you can definitely take, and you have some really obvious local areas as well that you could look to. Like if you just zoomed in more now and you said, well, I took the trade, I want to lock in some gains so I don't get, massacred here if this doesn't make new highs. You would just target your weekly average from last week. It's untapped. These hit at an 84% strike rate. So we'd be expecting to see 84,987 on price. And it'd be a good place to start looking at in terms of like locking in some gains. And the setup is very ripe if it happened today. And the only reason I say that is you've got a previous day high here. Okay, so you get a sweep into this zone. You know that there's resistance there, both on a weekly average standpoint. But if you zoomed in even further from your previous day high, your weekly pivot, you started looking at your ranges. I believe the monthly
Magic,
range
what
is
time
still.
frame is this on? Magic, I'm sorry to cut you off.
This is an hourly chart.
Okay.
We're looking at the hourly because we're kind of talking low time frames.
Okay.
But realistically, I wanted to look at this profile because it's a developing monthly. And you can see this is also your value area low. So getting back into this, pseudo developing time range in terms of a monthly scale would be important. It lines up with the key zones we've been talking about from both fibs and averages. And then, the icing on the cake for me is you guys know that I'm really big on standard deviations. And what we do in our group is we put out levels that are good for an entire halving event or an entire year sometimes. And this is where we are. We're bouncing from the median of a halving deviation. And this is also going to be a halving deviation here as well, which is a very good support and resistance marker. And then if you go into the yearly even, you'll see it's kind of backing that up. So I would say between 84 and 86 is kind of your most notable key area in the immediate short term. And that would be early signs of some form of strength trying to enter the chart for me. But otherwise, you can never short support. This very well could be a great place to lock in some, long-term holds. The question is, can it actually do anything with it? My bias is, as always, neutral. But once we lose that $80,000 to $83,000 zone, the pivot zone there, I'll pull it up so you guys have the exact numbers again. Once this is lost on like a weekly or a monthly, historically speaking, not good things happen. So to me, that's kind of my line in the sand where I do start to flip around on how I feel about, is this cycle over type thing? Because historically speaking, once that area is flipped, and I'm going to go back to 2018, and then there's another example in 2013 and 14 where we opened well above it. As you can see, came down and lost it. And it's kind of hard to tell because you get a lot of chop here on the daily. However, if you go to like a weekly, you'll notice right in it, back test it several times as resistance. Same thing happened over here when we came up to our most notable one here, back tested as resistance. So it, to me, that's the zone. I either want to be buying that as support or I want to be selling it as resistance. And here's the other one from 2013. So again, back test, obviously gold pockets being hit, but it does tend to go a little bit lower because the corrections aren't always 61.8%. But yeah, that's how I see it. I'm willing to take longs out of this region. I think that's your option. But if a person was looking for a lower time frame area that they were like, hey, I'm not interested in longs because I'm scared, I'd be willing to hedge. I would be a little more patient and wait to see if we get that convergence zone above around like 84 to 86 and then trading a setup there for lower prices. But yeah, that's it. That's how I see the market. Very plain Jane, black and white,
Magic, and I apologize if you already answered this, but what I kind of said was I think we get a relief rally and then another flush, one more flush down to like 71.5, 71.6, and then I think we start to reverse trend and really change the structure of the chart back to being bullish because obviously right now especially on the higher time frames it's very bearish, right?
I think you're in the right spot because if you look at the 382, you have front run it. So to me, when I see something like that, while there is, some weekly and daily naked points of control here, there was an untapped weekly pivot that was left over. That final flush into like 73 or even 71, as long as it's like a wick basis, it could very well present a decent trading opportunity. So I would definitely have the area marked, just below our current lows.
Awesome. And just some news here that I just saw on my phone, and I'm curious to see how Bitcoin has reacted. Yeah, so U.S. resumes military aid and intelligence to Ukraine after agreeing to a ceasefire proposal. They also, I believe, signed the minerals deal, and so we see Bitcoin at 82.6. The stock market, let's see, Dow is now only down 390 points. I say only because it was down close to 600 earlier. NASDAQ has actually flipped green. And so, Magic, I know when you do your TA in trading, I know you've said it before, you don't really focus on headlines. But do you think that when all the uncertainty of tariffs and trade war, do you think that's the main factor driving prices down? What's your kind of take on everything we're seeing?
I think it definitely plays a role in it. I've said it before that I thought the market went up very quickly because there was a lot of uncertainty, even just going into Donald Trump's presidency. There was a lot of policy that was kind of up in the air. He was going to try to shake things up one way or another. So to me, it's, you've got events that are now driven by TA. And I've made this post on Twitter. I think I even sent it to you. When we reversed on the SPX, this was the reversal pattern. And I've used only the points from this pattern here on this deep crab to find this box months in advance of where I was looking for a reversal on the SPX. And this is the only average here, which is very familiar because we were just talking about it on Bitcoin. This is the yearly average for the SPX, just transposed into a horizontal non-dynamic line. It's only the average of price using 3 points from the prior year, high, low, close, divide that by 3, gives you this. They hit it at a statistical rate. You're now bouncing at the yearly pivot. That's where Bitcoin's at as well. It's at its yearly pivot and 6-month pivot. So you came into high time frame resistance. What happens in the news, I have no clue what's going to. I just know that this was an area that if we were going to get bad news, I figured we'd probably be in this zone. So, but yeah, I do think tariffs matter. I don't think that Bitcoin is unfortunately not yet immune to government decisions and what's going on in the financial markets. It hasn't decoupled from that. And I know that kind of chaps some Bitcoiners ass the wrong way because they want to think that Bitcoin is like its own thing. And, long term, it probably doesn't need the government or need anything else. But in the short term, while it's a new market, it's going to be affected by these events. So it just all depends on your perspective, I suppose. But yeah, this was kind of the area I was looking for, and I'd like to evaluate and see what's going on. I'd love to see if Bitcoin can rally from here. I don't know that I'm in the camp of it's going to make tremendously new highs. Just kind of to recap, that was this is the zone that I had mapped out. I think we started covering it over in this area. That if we break out, 101 to 124,000 was probably going to be the high, and that's using the same math that I used for this high back in 2021. People laugh because it's a 20% window between 61.2 and 73 back then, but it was a good spot to have, and this is the same. So, that's kind of how I see the market is. Even if this does reverse and start making new highs, that there are no guarantees we're going to see that like 150 to 180 zone. I think you really have to take a hard look at this part of the chart and say, if it makes new highs, is it going to get that much higher? Nobody knows, not even me. It's just I would be cautious on a secondary push above this unless you're truly a believer of the super cycle. I'm starting to see that float around again. And so, I don't have any opinion on that. Anything could happen. So I just kind of trade it day by day and tell people I don't know anything because I don't.
No one does, right? HBAR Bean called you Magic Mike. Are you, that's a compliment, right? That's a good looking guy. Very ripped.
I hope so.
Magic, I do want to ask you about one altcoin that kind of has everyone scratching their heads. Ethereum.
Sure.
It has been in this like falling channel since Vitalik Buterin stuffed a steel pipe down his pants. It's been a while.
ETH is the one that has surprised me the most this cycle with its underperformance. I actually thought ETH would be a strong player because it had such a great rally, really. But this is not good looking, to be quite upfront with you.
You know, it's funny, Magic. I was on my show last night and I said the same thing. I'm looking at the chart. I'm like, dude, just
let it go, man.
It's not.
Just let it go. Just let it go.
The only thing I would say is it's not formally lost, but you know, the one thing to keep in mind, I guess, as investors and traders, doesn't mean just like hodl into the ground. I think that's silly. But if you're looking for a position on Ethereum, but it looks like this, and you're like, God, it just looks terrible, though. Bottoms never look good, just like tops never look like tops. Rarely do they look, you know, bad, and you're like, oh, this is obviously a top. You know, if it was that easy, then everyone would time the markets perfectly, and we all know that's not a thing. So bottoms never look good. They just don't. You know, they don't typically look like what people want. And so I would be patient with this one if I was sitting on the sidelines. You know, if you wanted to bid it a little bit, you certainly could. I would probably put a stop loss somewhere in this region, even though there's always a chance they come down and take it. But realistically, again, I would continue to harp on this zone here somewhere around this area. Needs to hold a support. It's not formally lost, but if it is, you know, you're going to probably wipe a lot of this price action out. And it's not going to look good. But let's say it doesn't. Let's say we lose this area on like weekly candles, but we just sit here and go sideways and then reclaim it. You can long that strength. You know, there's a million ways to view the chart. So I wouldn't be too dogmatic on it just because it looks like hot dog water right now. Because most of the time when assets are bottoming, they do. You know, just like no one wants to say this was the all-time high because everybody wanted 8 or 10K or whatever it was. Hindsight's 2020. So being patient might give you the little extra,
Magic,
nudge you need. Because if it holds, go ahead.
I'll say one thing I will correct you on. There are some bottoms that actually do look very good. Sorry.
No, you're all right. Some of them, they almost look too good to be true. Oh, I see what you did there. Never mind. Play on words. Never mind.
Sorry.
Yeah, I missed it.
That was
That's on
funny,
me.
Rocco. What are you doing? Rocco will literally take any chance to take a shot at me. It's unheard of. He is my producer.
I mean,
he's an owner of the company, and he always tries to clown on me. I don't get the guy, man.
I'm pretty sure David's the guy that has the stud finder at home and then puts it on himself. He's like, found one.
And then he laughs. He laughs by himself.
That is definitely Robin. And if you want, I can create a poll on the chat. Anyway, sorry, Magic, to cut you off with that silly joke. But.
The only thing I was going to say is if it does start bouncing out of this zone, this is still support. I know we're on like the 4 hour now, not the weekly anymore. So it looks like you've already given it up, but it's a 4 hour chart. So give it a grain of salt. You start reclaiming this region as support. We used to say 2,800 was that key level. We got to have it. You go out to the monthly, you see it right here. Got to have it. I still think that, there's very important there, but early signs of strength on Ethereum that you're going to see a sizable rally, or at least an attempt at one, would be actually reclaiming 2,500. You can start moving that bar down a little bit. It's your monthly pivots there. It's the last local high of like a major, swing here. So if price comes back up here and loses this area, you could probably trade it back like a range. But if it reclaims it, that's where you want to be looking at this as, okay, I need to be aware of these local highs, but am I seeing strength coming into the market as a whole? What's going on? And trade accordingly, I guess. Or if you're not trading and you're investing, maybe relax a little. Yeah, that's all I'll really say. Ethereum's a pretty basic chart. Below here, no bueno. That's realistically it. And I don't think anyone wants to see a major support SR flip like this get flipped into resistance. So
that'd be pretty ugly. I am going to share some news in a little bit here that might change people's outlooks on ETH. Magic, we want to thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you on, my friend. Guys, if you want more Magic Internet Money, you want to be part of his Discord community, highly, highly recommended. We're going to put that link in the chat. Go join, and Magic is one of the best to do it. He's one of my favorite people. I honestly, when you're on the show, Magic, I'm like glued to the TV in front of me because I feel like every week you do your thing. I learn something new, and so I always try to learn from the best, and you're one of the best, man. Appreciate you joining us as always. No, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. We'll see it.
You got some names you're going to rattle off or what?
If you are new here, say hello. We'd love to give you a little love back at you. We have a few new faces. Rodeo Live Lord. We got Mills Nuts.
Who?
Falco. Luda. C. Ferrer. Oh, we butchered that one. Also got Julio, George, Alexander, BizKnowledge, 662, Fighter, Dizel, Pinchy, Screen Addicts, Nick Flip, and Michael. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Gazelle said he saw me on BitLab Academy. I was on that show with Kelly this morning. It's a good show. And then HBAR Bean said he saw me on Blockchain Basement. Also a good show. We actually have Kelly joining us next week. We also have Mark Yusko joining us next week, too.
Oh.
It's going to be a good one. He's actually scheduled for the FOMC meeting. His assistant scheduled him. So I'm going to reach out to him like, hey, you want to do something cool with the FOMC? We'll see. We'll see what we do that. But we got a lot of big guests coming up. Now, I did mention some ETH news. The CBOE files proposal to allow staking for Fidelity's ETH ETF. This is one catalyst that I have pointed to that could potentially kick up inflows into the Ethereum ETF as the issuers see the value in essentially double dipping, taking a fee from their clients, but also earning those block rewards. And so we'll see. Will it get approved? If it does, I'm assuming BlackRock will do the same. I'm assuming Franklin Templeton, every other ETF issuer. It is an absolute no-brainer. And maybe they start promoting it like they do with the Bitcoin ETF. Who knows? But I think this would be a net positive for ETH. Any thoughts on that before I share Miss Cynthia Lummis?
No, it's coming. At this point, this administration.
Do you agree that that would be bullish for Ethereum?
Yeah, I still don't think Bitcoin versus Ethereum is a good long-term trade. That's just my opinion. But it doesn't mean that ETH won't grow. And if it's going to grow, if its market cap's going to keep up with Bitcoin, it needs narratives like that. I'm just not confident on the asset long-term.
Real quick, before I play this video, this is Senator Cynthia Lummis. She's giving a real good look right there. Who do you think she's giving that stare to?
Is it a Trezor wallet?
No. I was trying to think of something funny, but I couldn't.
Bybit wallet.
All right, let me throw my audio on here. By the way, guys, again, we're giving away $50 at the end of the show, so make sure you subscribe to Billy Goat Tales. That is linked or pinned to the top of the comment section. Here is Cynthia Lummis talking about reintroducing her Bitcoin reserve bill.
I'm so pleased to announce that today I will be reintroducing the Bitcoin Act. And I'll be joined here shortly by Senator Justice of West Virginia, who is one of the co-sponsors. And we have several other additional co-sponsors. And a lot of it is a result of the excitement that's been building.
See how excited she was to announce that? That's a real Bitcoiner right there, man. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts there, Rob? Now, I know this is still got to go through the process, and they got to vote, and then they're probably going to make adjustments.
That's good. I mean, that was...
You think this happens this year?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
You think so? For sure?
Yeah.
Can't even get a stablecoin bill passed. And that's supposed to be like a slam dunk bipartisan. Oh my God, this makes so much sense that it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican.
Well, Donald Trump, so during the, I don't know if it was during the town hall crypto summit meeting thing that they had last Friday, or if it was when he was signing the executive order. Either way, he said he wanted to get on his desk the bill before Congress took recess in August.
Yeah.
And so
that was during his EO meeting, I believe. Either way.
So Donald Trump has a target of August, by August. And I mean, he's delivered on everything he said he's going to do, right? Executive orders, the tariffs.
He did say we're going to win so much, we're going to get tired of winning. I'm so energetic to win. I'm not tired at all.
So the thing is I mean, so far he's been a man of his word. Now, how long does it take? It's really not in his control. It's in the House and the Senate. The House a lot of times drag their feet. Wouldn't be surprised for it to pass the Senate a lot faster than the House. House Representatives, for it to hit the floor, could take who knows how long. But the president has made it a very important bill to get through So I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump puts in the pressure to get it on the floor and voted on ASAP. And in doing so, I think it'll be here by summer. Yeah, this is great, man. It's great news, man. If you've ever had any doubt on the fact that we're in a bull market, I mean, you don't need to look any further than what's going on right now in the executive office, in Congress. I mean, on Friday, we had the crypto summit with all of the, all of the prominent crypto names in office. And then you had a bunch of leaders from cryptocurrency, from Brian Armstrong, Sergey from Chainlink. You had Brad Garlinghouse, Michael Saylor. Everyone sat around in a room, discussed for hours what they were going to do with crypto and regulation moving forward. You got the Cynthia Lummis bill. They're going to buy 1 million Bitcoin. Pretty damn big, man.
Huge.
And that's not an executive order. That's not something that just goes away once Donald Trump leaves office. And not to mention, it's over the course of the next 5 years. So even if they pass the bill to quote unquote.
And the bill's going to have it's going to say they can't sell it for 20 years, correct?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Even if they somehow passed another bill to halt the purchasing, they're going to buy 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years. Donald Trump's in office for 4 years. So they're going to, at minimum, acquire 800,000 Bitcoin. And so it's pretty bullish, man. I'm very excited. Big news.
I'm sorry. Ontario, Canada agrees to suspend the 25% electricity surcharge on the U.S. It's like a game of, I don't even know what game it is, but it's not, I don't know if it's a fun one. It's like, are they capitulating? I don't know. Either way, just to the point of what I have been preaching on the PM stream and on this stream as well, is price action, TA, high time frame, low time frame. All it takes is one post, one tweet, one announcement, one press conference, and you go from where were we at, Robin? Everything was red when we started the show, correct? NASDAQ is officially up 156 points. The Russell 2000 is up 0.26%. The S&P has flipped green, and the Dow Jones is on its way to flipping green.
Bitcoin's up 2% on the 1 hour.
Bitcoin's at $83,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's up 2% on an hour, just to put that in perspective. So is the ETH.
I would be
ETH is breaking out, guys.
I would be careful. I would be keen to short a resistance level versus trying to enter into a long now. Just be careful.
And I would not touch a short right now, bro.
You would not touch a short?
No, we literally just hit a bottom.
I would not touch a long.
Bro, I would long right here all day.
Go ahead. Long it.
Okay.
I would wait for maybe 84,000, put in a short position, and then have your stop loss right around 83.6.
You can't fight the trend, bro. The Nasdaq's going to end over 1% over today. I think you got the tariff rebound news. You got Ukraine. You just had a big sell-off day yesterday. The markets generally rebound on the stock markets after a big historic sell-off day, and I just think the rebound. I mean, we were at 77,000 yesterday briefly, and so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think by the end of the day we're at 85.5, 86. I think we wake up to 87. I think that's in the next.
Well, the one good thing is we're seeing some good volume here on this breakout, and we're actually coming into a potential. And this is what I wanted to ask Magic: a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern here, right? You have your shoulder, your head, your shoulder, and there's your neckline, and we've already broken above it. And so 84.1 would be the level I'd be looking at. And I don't know, I'm feeling a short at 84K, but again, we'll see how price action fades out. Rob's in the opposite. He believes that we should be longing now. I would just proceed with caution. So yeah, I'm curious what the chat thinks. Are you looking at long or short? Are you going to long the pump or are you going to short the pump? Put a 1 for long, put a 2 for short. Because I'm very curious.
1 for long, 2 for short.
Is it
1 for long, 2 for short.
Thank you for that, Robin. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Rob, why don't we take a look at I know Magic went over Bitcoin and ETH. Why don't we take a look at the rest of the altcoins? Who are the biggest gainers of the last 1 hour?
Okay. So you got Caspa up
Hey,
27%. This was at 5 cents yesterday.
talked about this yesterday.
You know, I said we were talking about what is a good buy at these current prices. And I was like, bro, you cannot fade Caspa at 5 cents. There's just certain value. And also, you know, ETH at 1,700. You know, I've been talking about it for quite some time. I said, look, man, ETH, I might be the biggest ETH hater out there, right? I genuinely believe I'm the biggest ETH hater.
No.
But on a 3-month trade, on a 3-month window, ETH at 1,800, absolute steal. And now it's slipping your fingertips now. There was, you know, I've been talking about it for probably a month now. I said, hey, guys, if ETH gets down to that 1,800, I think that's the spot. And now it's back approaching at 2,000. So a couple other projects. BitTensor's got a nice rebound. This one's still down on the week. I'm very curious
That's a
to
big
see.
rally, bro. 6%? 6%, right? On the hour?
On the hour, 22% on the
big
day.
rally.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's still down 6% on the week though. So I don't know, man. I'm a little cautious. I know you're more bullish, but I'm a little more cautious on AI. I think that what we really need to see is a turnaround in Nvidia stock. I genuinely look at Nvidia and the AI sector as the same correlation as Bitcoin and the altcoin sector, right?
Robin, say less. Nvidia's up.
Yeah. But I just don't know how sustained this is. And so, I mean, genuinely, like, I think, like, it's a no-brainer if Bitcoin goes up 50%, then Solana, let's say, will be somewhere similar in returns, right? Maybe it outperforms, maybe it underperforms, but we know Bitcoin goes up 50%. Solana, you can expect it to move handsomely. Now, same for NVIDIA. That's how I look at the AI. So I think if NVIDIA's stock price were to go up by 30%, I think that AI-based crypto projects are up 25, 30, 50, 100%. There's a correlation there, man. And so something to keep an eye on. Near Protocol, a little bounce back. Cardano. I would just say that, you know, you had an opportunity to buy the dip here. So take a look at what's up on the week, though. Chronos, very interesting. If there's any projects out here that can weather a sell-off, it's exchange tokens. Maybe it has something to do with exchanges. Tokens are majority on the.
That's literally what it has to do
on.
with it. They hold the majority of the.
They hold majority of the tokens.
That is literally what is the reason. But go ahead.
So I mean, you know, maybe in the future, if you feel like the market might sell off, instead of going into stables and missing a pump,
put into a
maybe the best hedge would be going into an exchange coin. I mean, think about it this way. But because here's the thing, and I know you've said it, but if you think about it this way, on the downside risk, you don't lose as much as the alts and Bitcoin. Right. But on the upside, you still continue the rally, right? And so let's just say right now I bought Chronos at 8 cents.
Do it.
What do you think the price of Chronos would be if Bitcoin went down 10% this week? Chronos would sell off, but I don't think it would sell off as much as the other alts. So in that perspective, you're mitigating your loss. But at the same time, if Bitcoin was to go up 10%, you're going to get returns from Chronos or from BNB or from BitGet or whatever it is. You're going to get returns on your exchange tokens. So you get both sides. You're playing both sides of the field here. Or you can say, hey, I feel like the market's going to crash. I'm going to go into stables. And what happens if Bitcoin just keeps running up 20, 30%? You're like, damn it. I thought the market was going to crash. Yeah. Just like you said earlier, and then you're going to be wrong. Same kind of premise.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Again, we'll be giving away $50 in a little bit here. All you got to do is be subscribed to the Billy Goat Tales YouTube channel. That is linked pinned to the top. And then put in the letters BGT. That's it. And then you'll be in the drawing. All right. Couple of big pieces of news. One, President Trump to sign an executive order letting crypto companies into the Fed's payment system. The order is expected to roll back Biden-era restrictions that prevented crypto-friendly banks from gaining access to master accounts, which is a crucial requirement for directly interacting with the Fed's payment system. Now, you might be wondering, what is that going to do for crypto? I made some notes because I did some digging. 4 things that'll do. 1, direct access to U.S. banking system for crypto companies. This means faster, cheaper, and more secure transactions, making the services more competitive with traditional banks. We saw that kind of with Signet. We saw that with Silvergate, and it was Signature Bank. They had their 24/7 right through the Fed. That ended, so that'll come back. It also reduces counterparty risks and fees, which is often passed on to you, the user. Number 2, legitimacy and stability for crypto businesses, attracting institutional investors, hedge funds, and major companies. Ending choke point 2.0 is number 3. That's going to be a massive one, making it easier to have unrestricted access to the financial rails that Wall Street and banks live on currently, making it easier to onboard customers and scale operations. And number 4, boosting innovation and competition, meaning lower fees, increased service quality, and pushing forward the crypto native financial products.
I gotta ask you, what the hell are you talking about, bro? On one point, everything was bullish, but you said the banks are going to pass on savings to the customers. Get out of here, bro. You know damn well if the banks make more money, if the banks make more money from using digital payments, there ain't no way they're going to lower that overdraft fee. There ain't no way they're going to remove that checking account fee. There ain't no way that international Swift payment transaction is going to cost less. Absolutely the hell no.
You're like that girlfriend where you're like, babe, you look so good today. Your eyes are beautiful. You're glowing. Your hair looks really good today. And then out of all that, instead of saying thank you, she says, you said my hair looks good today. It doesn't look good every day. That's the one thing you took out of everything I said?
Great point. It would be like if you had a girlfriend and she was like, you're handsome, you're tall, you make a lot of money, you got a small wiener, you know what, like you're you know what I mean, you're career driven. You'd be like, hold the hell up.
Listen, Robin.
Hold the hell up.
This isn't
Vienna sausage, not up in here now.
This isn't a confession, okay? It's not a confession time. We're just sharing our thoughts. We're not telling us personal detail stories. So anyways, super bullish. This is something Caitlin Long with Custodia Bank has been pushing for. And when we sat down with her at Caesar's Palace last year during was it NFT XLV or Rare Evo? Rare Evo. She brought that up, and so she must be absolutely happy. And then some massive news coming out of the Ripple camp. Ripple payments technology featured in Bank of England's proof of concept. The Bank of England recently published its fintech accelerator proof of concept titled Ripple, exploring the synchronized settlement of payments using the Interledger protocol. According to the Bank of England's POC, the Apex financial institution intends to leverage Ripple's Interledger protocol. Besides benefits and costs, the Bank of England considered Ripple's Interledger protocol because it boosted cash flow as a criterion. So, this is bullish news. What are your thoughts there, Medium Rob?
Medium Rob.
I gave you some leeway. I didn't call you Small Rob. Medium.
Okay, thank you. You know what? I feel like if the lawsuit was still going on, we wouldn't have this headline.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was Bank of England.
We're talking about
it's not obvious. I mean, I think that you might say like, hey, we're international companies, international banks, international governments, or foreign governments. Were they hesitant on getting into partnership with Ripple because of the SEC, which is located in the U.S.? I don't know. It's very interesting.
Robin, 330 years the Bank of England has been around.
And all of those years, they picked this year to partner with XRP.
Shut up.
All those 229 years they left on the table. They could have been in here working with Ripple this whole time. And so...
I think there were some no disclosure agreement already signed.
Y'all waited 229 years to this moment. And it's all because of the SEC. Earlier we did have a lot of ones. I just wanted to point that out. The community stands with me.
That's okay, bro.
Let's go. I did, I was thinking you earlier.
Thinking of me earlier, okay.
And there's been a lot of...
where's this going? I don't know.
There's been a lot of back and forth on people's stance with Donald Trump. And so I was just curious. I just wanted to get a pulse on the community. I wanted to know what you guys thought, because we talk a lot about headlines for Trump and the administration and executive orders and executive, the executive branch is really pushing forward crypto. However, the markets are selling off. Meme coins have been launched by Trump, several of them, and well, they have kind of destroyed the Solana ecosystem temporarily. And it's I'm just curious.
What's your point, man?
I'm curious. I want to know what the chat thinks.
Let it talk.
Hey, are you happy with the Donald Trump administration we have so far?
Yes.
Maybe you, the viewer. Not you. You, the viewer. Are you happy with the Donald Trump administration when it comes to crypto? Put a 1 in the chat. I want everybody to answer, please. If you're unhappy and you're like, Donald Trump, man, you are blowing up trade agreements. I'm pissed off Canada. You know what? You launched one too many meme coins. Nobody wants your NFTs. And can you stop
the shoes
with the tariffs, please?
The shoes.
And put a 2 in the chat. I want to know where you guys stand on current situation.
There, Rob?
You know what? I'm definitely a number 1. I think everything is everything right now is in the right direction. And you know what? We've gotten punched in the gut as of recently with the markets and in crypto. So I can't sit here and say everything's been perfect. But not the playbook I thought I was going to see. But you know what? I will take it. Ultimately,
football, there's a lot of audibles. You know that, right? All right, last chance. You want to win $50? Make sure you subscribe to Giver's Gain. That link is pinned to the top. And then all you got to do is put the letters BGT, and we'll do a random drawing. I want to give a big thank you to today's channel sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Legacy Academy and the Legacy Academy app that is live on Google and Apple Play stores. You can earn the in-app LGCT token, which has defied bear market odds and has been continuing to grind higher, and you can earn that token in the Legacy Academy app. It is an absolute masterpiece of an app. You can do so many things, learn about really anything you want. Business, love, financial relationships, how to get rid of a co-host who keeps annoying you, how to stop your producer from giving you the womp, womp, womp sound when it doesn't deserve it. All that's in there. You can do it by earning money as well. So big shout out to Legacy Academy and Legacy Network for sponsoring today's show.
And also a big shout out to all of the new people. There's a lot of people responding there, so I appreciate the support. Also, more 2s than I thought I would see. There's definitely more 1s. I feel like we have more of a happy Trump is doing his thing in office right now, but there's actually more 2s than I thought we were going to see. So that was interesting. And then some fresh faces. We have Martin J. Mac Anthony, Catter, Chris A, Charles Got Me Fired, Matt C, Purple 303, Billy, Rock Lobster, H Solo, Baba, Yaz, Will Lobster, Gary, Hector, Nadia, Steve, Winter, Pokemon, and SeaWorld 15 to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
I used to love SeaWorld until I watched that Blackfish documentary on Netflix. Sad. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen Blackfish?
No.
Oh my God, bro, it's a masterpiece.
Guys, type BGT, okay? Maybe you're correct, or TGB doesn't apply. Or
You got a dyslexic person.
or the corrector, somebody wrote BUT, but. So, yep.
Okay. We're not doing a butt giveaway, but maybe we will.
BGT, no exclamation point, just BGT, okay?
All right, Rocco, let's go ahead and draw it.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and draw it. We're going to have Nightbot in the background, draw a winner, and then when we announce the winner, we need the winner to put in what your Twitter handle is, and we'll send you a DM, and we'll confirm that you are indeed subscribed to the channel, BGT, and we'll send you your $50.
We have only 39 entries, huh?
Pull it.
That's it.
Do it.
3, 2, 1, let's go. And the winner is Ilto Cryptos, something like that.
Ethos Crypts.
There we go. That's what it is.
Hithos Crypts. All right, Hithos Crypts. What is your @ on X? Put that in the comment section, and then we'll DM you, and we'll send you your $50 in USDC. Again, guys, I will be going live at 4:45 p.m. Pacific, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be covering charts and fundamental analysis. You know, we took a look at Aptos yesterday, and we looked at unlocks and what it has done. And it looks like now, of course, I know the overall market, sentiment now has changed a little bit with the news we shared on the live show today. But it did what we expected it to do. So for those of you that were watching and ended up putting in a long position, you're probably in the money. I would check on maybe taking some cash out of that one. And then, so we'll be looking at a few more of those later today to try to find some opportunities to make money in this market. And so come join me live on this channel. And with that being said, Rocco, thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, peace.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members.